Hello my friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today is not part 3 of a haul video. I was feeling a little stale doing haul video after haul video, so I needed a break from that. I'm going to push that until probably mid next week. Another video that I have coming for you before next Tuesday is I just got a review copy in for the new 4K Ultra HD of 300. Warner Brothers was kind enough to send this over to me to do a review for you guys, so I am going to have this up. It's available, it's releasing in stores this coming Tuesday. That would be the 6th of October, so I will have this review up either Sunday or Monday for you guys, so you can make your decision if you want to upgrade this or add it to your collection. So those are two things that I have coming in the future. Also, it's October 1st. Happy October, happy spooky season. So that means 31 days of horror. Now, I think it's kind of silly to try to watch a movie a day and then post a 2 or 3 minute video about it. I think that's kind of counterproductive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch 31 horror movies in 31 days, and I have different themes, and I'll let you know more about this when I post a video. What I'm going to do is once a week, probably on Saturdays, I'm going to post everything that I watched that week, and I'll let you know what I thought about it, and I'll tell you what the categories are. So that's how I'm going to do the 31 days of Halloween. But what I have for you today, now that we've gotten the business out of the way, are 10 movies that I think deserve a Blu-ray release. Because we're not really getting any new releases. Studios aren't really filming anything. Theaters are just starting to open, but even like Tenet, that got really good reviews, the box office numbers were terrible because people just, I don't know that people are really ready or safe to go out to the movies if they're feeling 100% safe to go out to the movies. Not to mention the fact that the movie capacity is down so low. Even if people want to go, you can only fit so many people in the theater with the social distancing rules. So what we're seeing is a lot of catalog titles being re-released on 4K, and the 4Ks have been they're just one after the other. They're showing up with release dates. I just saw one for Blade. We have Back to the Future coming. There's some Eddie Murphy titles coming. So there's a lot of things coming down the pike. But we still have so many catalog titles that haven't even seen the Blu-ray release yet. So I picked out 10 titles and 2 honorable mentions that I think are deserving of Blu-ray releases. So let me know down in the comments what are some titles that you would like to see at least get a Blu-ray release, because I don't think everything needs a 4K release. I really don't. I enjoy some 4Ks, I enjoy a lot of 4Ks, but I just don't think everything warrants a 4K release. And sometimes the upgrade is so small from the Blu-ray to the 4K that you don't really see that much of a difference. So I am very happy with Blu-ray. So let's just get right into it with my first honorable mention. And this just missed making my top 10 by a hair, but it doesn't mean it's not a great movie. This is from 1987. It stars Andrew McCarthy, Jamie Gertz, and Robert Downey Jr. in Less Than Zero. And if you haven't seen this movie, it is so good. And if you're a fan of 80s movies like I am, I mean, I was a product of the 80s. I was a teenager and early 20s in the 80s. So these movies are right up my alley. These guys play 3 friends who are they've just graduated high school. They come from very wealthy families. They have fancy cars. They have clothes that we'd never be wearing at 18. They have access to money, drugs, parties, liquor, clubs, anything you could imagine these 3 have. Andrew McCarthy decides to go off to college, and when he comes back for Christmas break, he finds out that his best friend, played brilliantly by Robert Downey Jr., has just spiraled into the depths of addiction. And this is really a story about friendship and addiction, and Robert Downey Jr. does a fantastic job. I mean, his acting is amazing. He is this movie. So if you see it for nothing else, see it for Robert Downey Jr. And if you haven't seen Less Than Zero, I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's streaming on Prime, but I do know that you can pick it up for about $3.99 on Amazon on the DVD. And I watched this just this week upstairs on my setup, and I used my 4K player, so there was some upscaling going on. But even the DVD, it looked really pretty good. So I would love to see this get a Blu-ray release, but if it doesn't, we have the DVD for now. So that's my first honorable mention. And my second honorable mention, it's only an honorable mention because it has only been out for a year. And I kind of was holding out hope because all these have been out, the ones that I picked have all been out for quite some time. But this has only been out for a year, and I was just so hopeful that someone somewhere would pick it up and do a Blu-ray release. I kid you not, minutes before I came down to do this video, I got an email from Ronin Flicks that they are releasing a Blu-ray, 2 Blu-ray copies, a collector's set and a regular Blu-ray of this movie on October, I believe, 22nd. And that is Haunt. And this one was a very quiet release. It came out just last October. It was streaming on Shudder, and then we got the DVD release. And over the year, it's kind of picked up momentum, and people have realized what a really fun movie this is, and it's perfect for October and Halloween and this whole creepy Halloween horror season. But I'm so happy that it is getting a Blu-ray release because it is so deserving. And if you didn't hear my little synopsis, basically what it is it's about these haunts that show up during the month of October, and this one just happens to be run by a bunch of sociopaths. So if you enjoy things like that, either stream it, pick up the DVD, or I'm going to put a link in the description box if you want to check out the releases that Ronin Flicks is putting out. You can go ahead and click that. It's not an affiliate link. I'm not being paid for it. It's just for your convenience. So Haunt, it is getting a Blu-ray release, so you have that. And now these are just 10 movies that I picked. They're in no particular order. They're just 10 movies that I picked that I would love to see get a Blu-ray release. And this first one, I think it's universally one that universally people have been asking for, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies. And I know there are some copies floating around, but I'm talking we want a studio release. I have heard rumblings of a 4K, but nothing has happened. I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything about it. I just heard some rumors, but so far nothing. And not even a talk of Blu-ray, but Arnold Schwarzenegger plays, he's playing a special agent, and he tells his wife, Jamie Lee Curtis, who's just brilliant, both of them are brilliant in their roles. He tells her he's a computer salesman, and then things start to happen, and I'm sure most of you have seen this. If you haven't seen it already, you have to check out True Lies. It is so, so good. All the acting is great, the story's great, it's funny, it's fun, there's action, it's got everything, and this is so deserving of a Blu-ray release. So if you haven't seen True Lies, give it a look. Just keep our fingers crossed that it gets a Blu-ray release. Come on, this is crazy. Now this next one, this is kind of a cult classic. It has kind of a cult following, but it is a Paramount title. So I think this would be perfect for the new Paramount Presents line that they're doing with all the Blu-rays, and I have heard no mention of it. So if you have heard anything about it, please let me know in the comments. This is Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest. And I don't know if the problem is the controversy of the story. I don't know if it's a rights issue. I don't know what the holdup is, but I have looked for a Blu-ray release for this for forever, because I just love this movie. I think Faye Dunaway is brilliant as Joan Crawford. I think the story is very compelling. It's very interesting. It holds your attention. There are so many quotable lines, and it has such a huge cult following. Let's put it this way. I was in a club probably 5 years ago. I'm not a big club person, so don't get crazy. I just happened to be out with some friends, and they played a dance mix of Mommy Dearest quotes, and everyone went nuts. It was like one line after another of Mommy Dearest quotes, and that was the song put to dance music. It was phenomenal. But Mommy Dearest, so deserving of a Blu-ray release, and I think it would be really well received. So that's my next pick. Now, this next one makes me crazy because it actually has a Funko Pop or two, more than one. It has a Funko Pop or two, and it is Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss in What About Bob? And Bill Murphy just does, Bill Murray just does such a good job as Bob Wiley, and he's just an annoying, crazy, OCD, hypochondriac, psychiatric patient, and Richard Dreyfuss plays his psychiatrist who just wants to go on vacation with his family, and as you know, Bob won't leave him alone. And this is just one of those movies. It's just so much fun. You turn your brain off and you laugh at the silliness of it and the outrageousness of it, and it's just so good, and it deserves a Blu-ray release. Now look, if you can give him a pop, here's Bob Wiley. He's holding his baby steps book, and he has his goldfish gill around his neck. Hopefully you can see that. So that is one of the Funko Pops from What About Bob. So they have Funko Pops, but they don't give him a Blu-ray. I mean, come on. Bill Murray is brilliant in this movie. Richard Dreyfuss is brilliant, and their on-screen chemistry is so, so good and so, so funny. And it's just, you know, it's one of those maybe a guilty pleasure movie, but oh, so much fun, and it would look great on Blu-ray. Now this next one, I don't know how well known this one is, but it's got Vince Vaughn, Janeane Garofalo. Where is Janeane Garofalo? What happened to her? And Joaquin Phoenix. And it is called Clay Pigeons. And if you want to see Vince Vaughn play a terrifying person, watch this movie. Basically, he's a guy, he's a drifter, he comes into town and he starts to hang out with Joaquin Phoenix, and weird things, terrible things start to happen. And I don't want to really get into it because it's really easy to spoil this one. But like I said, if you want to see Vince Vaughn play basically a sociopath, definitely check out Clay Pigeons. You will not regret it. I don't think it's streaming on Netflix or anything, or anything like that. Maybe Vudu, maybe Amazon Prime, but this is definitely well worth a look. And again, where is Janeane Garofalo? Let me know in the comments. Now this next one, again, I don't know how well known this one is, but this is a really good movie. And it says, it's called Panic. It says a story of family, lust, murder, and other midlife crises. It stars William H. Macy, Neve Campbell, Tracy Ullman, and Donald Sutherland. And fun fact, I met Neve Campbell at Monster Mania in New Jersey a year and a half ago, and I mentioned this movie, and she kind of stopped what she was doing, and she couldn't believe that somebody actually mentioned this movie, and she agreed what a great and fun movie this was. And basically what it is Donald Sutherland is a hitman, and his son William H. Macy works for him. He carries out hits, and William H. Macy starts to have a change of heart and a change of consciousness, and he's kind of feeling like he's in a midlife crisis, and he wants to get out of the hitman business, and his father's not going to have it. So that's the gist of the story. And in the meantime, he's married, but he starts to carry on with a very young Neve Campbell. I believe she's supposed to be like 22 or 23 years old. So there's his midlife crisis, and he's acting out. But really great acting, really great story, and good chemistry between everyone. And Donald Sutherland is so believable as that controlling, terrifying father. And William H. Macy is perfect in that kind of like wishy-washy role that he just does so well. But really enjoyed this one. And if you haven't seen Panic, definitely give it a look. And like I said, you can, like with the other ones, probably stream it somewhere, if anything, on Prime. But you could just pick up the DVD as well. Now, these last five I have here, the first one, this is a David Fincher film, stars Jodie Foster in Panic Room. And this one is even hard to find on DVD. I actually had to take to eBay to find it because I had loaned my copy out to someone and of course never got it back. You can't even find it on DVD. So I don't know if there's a Blu-ray in the works, because all David Fincher's other films that I know of, I believe they all have Blu-ray releases in the United States. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I have heard no talk of Panic Room getting a Blu-ray release, but it is so deserving, and I think it would just go great with the rest of the Fincher catalog. And I think it's a good story, it's a good movie. Haven't seen it in a long time. I'm going to revisit it now that I've pulled it off the shelf. But like I said, I had to go to eBay to even find this one. So Panic Room would be my next choice. And let me know, do you like Panic Room or not so much? Because I know there was a very, it was very divisive. Some people loved it, some people weren't crazy about it. I thought it was pretty good from what I remember. But definitely one that I think deserves a Blu-ray release. Now this next one, I don't know if a lot of people have heard of it, but it's got a great cast. Christopher Walken, Sean Patrick Flanery, Jay Marr, Henry Thomas, Dennis Leary, Johnny Galecki from Roseanne, and he's in, no, is he in, what else is he in? Big Bang Theory he's in. Jeremy Sisto and Laura San, I can't read her last name, it's too small. Anyway, it's called Suicide Kings. And if you haven't seen this one, this is kind of like a dark comedy. One of the guys, his sister is kidnapped. So they decide, these group of friends here decide the way they are going to get her back, because they're asking for ransom, the way they're going to get her back is they kidnap Christopher Walken, which I wouldn't even kidnap Christopher Walken as Christopher Walken because he terrifies me. He's crazy. But he is a retired mob person. So they figure they're going to hold him hostage in this house and have him use his contacts to negotiate getting the girl back. And it is just a plan that just consistently goes wrong. And one thing after another happens. And like I said, it's very much a dark comedy. Dennis Leary is Christopher Walken's kind of sidekick or helper or, right-hand man. So that's how he fits into it. He can do dark comedy like no one else, but really, really good. It has a lot of twists. Sometimes the twists and turns are a little bit too much for its own good, but really it all works out in the end. And I really enjoy this. This is another one that I've had to buy multiple times because every time I loan it out to someone, I never see it again. But yes, Suicide Kings, if you haven't seen this one yet, I highly, highly recommend it. And I don't know if it's ever going to get a Blu-ray release. It's just wishful thinking on my part, but I think it's well worth it. Now this next one, I don't normally put documentaries in a category where I feel it's necessary that they have a Blu-ray release, because a lot of documentaries tend to be shot on camcorders, not the greatest, not the greatest quality, and that's fine. And if you want to put them on a Blu-ray, that's fine with me. But because of the subject matter and because it's an ongoing project, I feel that bringing it to Blu-ray would draw attention to what the message it's trying to convey, and that's very important, and you'll understand when I tell you a little bit more about it. This one is called Born into Brothels. I want to show you the cover. And I want to see, when is this from? This was released in 2004, and basically what it is these children that you see on the front, they all work in the red light district in Calcutta. They're all brothels. And it's generation after generation after generation of these families that cannot get out of the brothels. And what happens is when they're girls and boys, but when they get to a mature enough age, which some of them it's like 13 or 14 years old, they're going to be put to work as a sex worker. So this woman comes and she's a photographer, and there's no photography allowed in the red light district for obvious reasons. She decides to teach these kids how to use cameras and sends them in to just take pictures to document their life. And she teaches them, how to take good pictures and what you want to take pictures of. And in the meantime, she is trying to find ways to get them out of the brothels by placing them in different schools, like maybe boarding schools and things like that. And most of the schools that are in this area are run by the churches and the nuns. And the nuns point blank tell her right on camera, they don't want the children of sex workers. They can't take them. So she has to find another way to get these kids in boarding schools because that is their only chance to escape a lifetime of being a sex worker. This is an amazing and a heartbreaking film, but it is so important because what this woman is doing and what she continues to do to help save these kids is amazing. And this is an ongoing project to this day. As far as I know, last time I checked was a few months ago. It is still an ongoing project. And I think bringing this to Blu-ray, first of all, it's about photography. So you're going to see an uptick in the quality of the photography that they're showing off that these kids take. And then they try to auction them off to raise money to get them into the schools. But also it's going to bring awareness and attention by re-releasing it to the program and to what's going on, and they could put a whole bunch of extra features and things like that to kind of keep the momentum going, because I think this is so important because it's really the only chance some of these kids have. It is an amazing movie, and it's an amazing accomplishment that what this woman has done with these kids. So Born into Brothels, if it never gets a Blu-ray release, at least pick up the DVD and give it a watch because it is well worth it, and you will be forever changed by seeing what one person can do with a little help from her little friends. But just, I can't say enough about it. Born into Brothels. And this next one, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, has a great cast. Brendan Fraser, Chris O'Donnell, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck in School Ties. This is a great coming-of-age movie, and Brendan Fraser is when does it take place? It's it's like it's a timepiece. It's from 1992, but it was taking place way earlier than that, when there was a lot of systemic racism, which is a topic that we're still dealing with today, so it's relevant. Anyway, Brendan Fraser is given a scholarship to go to this boarding school because he is such an accomplished football player. And I believe it's a Catholic school, but what he doesn't tell anyone is that he is Jewish. And he doesn't want anyone to find out that he's Jewish because he knows that he will not be accepted from these young guys who live at this school. And there are remarks made about Jewish people, and you know, he just knows that it's not going to be a good scene if he lets people know that he's Jewish. So this is his story, this is their story, and like I said, it's a coming of age story. But I think this is such a great movie, and I don't understand why it hasn't gotten a Blu-ray release. I think it would be fabulous. It would look great on Blu-ray. So many outside football scenes, and there's just so many beautiful scenes in this. It's a really well shot movie. The cinematography is great, so I think it would look absolutely stunning, and a great cast, and no reason it shouldn't have a Blu-ray. And this last one makes me absolutely crazy that it doesn't have a Blu-ray release. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I hope I said that right. I always mangle his name. The Village. And again, I believe this is his only movie that I know of. I could be wrong. I think this is his only movie that doesn't have a Blu-ray release, and I don't understand why. Basically what this is in a nutshell, and I don't want to ruin anything because you know his movies are known for having that twist ending, and I don't want to give anything away. You have a group of people that live in this very small, tightly connected village, and they have woods that surround the village, and they tell the kids and the villagers not to wander to the near the woods because there's evil in the woods. And that's pretty much all I'm going to tell you, but this is an amazing movie. The ending will blow you away if you haven't seen it, and this is so deserving of a Blu-ray release, and it would be perfect to have all his films, all his catalog titles with Blu-ray releases. At least give it an option. But yeah, it's got the DVD release, and again, this was another one that was a little tricky to find. I may have gotten this one on eBay, I'm not sure, because sometimes it's on Amazon and sometimes it's not, but I look and look and look, and I have not seen anything where, even out of the country, I haven't seen it on Blu-ray anywhere. But another fantastic movie by M. Night Shyamalan, and very worthy of a Blu-ray release. So I don't know what the problem is. Come on, let's get going. So those are my 10 movies, 10 of the movies that I would like to see on Blu-ray. So if you have different movies, which I'm sure you do, please let me know in the comments, and let me know if you've heard any rumblings about any of these titles getting releases. And like I said, any other ones that you think are deserving of releases, let me know in the comments. So I want to thank you as always for watching this video. This was fun. It was fun to pick these out because a lot of them I rewatched, and it makes me, just pulling them off the shelf makes me want to watch them again. And one that recently got a Blu-ray release that I never thought would get one is Howard Stern's Private Parts. I really, honestly, I never thought that would get a Blu-ray release, but I'm happy that it did, and I picked it up. Anyway, thanks again for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments, recommendations, suggestions. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload all these videos I have planned for this month, because it's going to be a busy month. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. And that's going to do it for me today, so I'm going to catch you on the next one. And for now, that's a wrap.